Booz Allen is delivering mission-ready solutions, AI-powered, software-defined, and commercial-first. Combining deep mission experience with commercial partnerships, Booz Allen is defining a new defense industrial base, a network that crosses traditional boundaries to scale non-traditional technologies and brings our best tech to the hands of the warfighter faster, effectively delivering technology for today and tomorrow. Booz Allen, accelerating outcomes for today's warfighters.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Lewis. I'm the president and CEO of the Purdue Applied Research Institute, and I helped start the NDIA Emerging Technologies Institute. And we are coming to you today from the Emerging Technologies Conference that NDIA is hosting in Washington, D.C. My guest on this podcast is Elīna Egle, who is the CEO of the Federation of Security and Defense Industries in Latvia. And we're going to be learning about you, Elīna, and we're going to be learning about your organization. I've heard it described as the Latvian version of the National Defense Industrial Association. So how very appropriate to have you at this conference. So first, welcome to the conference. Welcome to the United States. And I'm wondering if we could start off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, first of all, it's a big pleasure to be here. And when your friends are inviting you to something so interesting and so valuable, of course, you cross the ocean, you cross the continent, and you just come.
Yeah.
Regarding myself, I have been co-founder of Federation of Securities and Defense Industries of Latvia in 2013.
Okay.
And since then, I have been a CEO of an organization which has been growing from 15 members founding the organization until 150 members right now, uniting not only companies, large, small, but also universities, research institutes, and also prime companies from other countries. And in this case, if we are in Washington, D.C., it's very important for me to mention that we are cooperating very closely with Lockheed Martin, with Biosystems, and also with General Dynamics. So these are companies which are involved in capability development of Latvia, and it's our big honor to support them in our country.
So let me ask, what was the lead up in your career that led to your taking on this role?
Yeah, it's looking back. So I was working in a state president's palace as advisor of economy for the president, and when I left the organization, I was completely dedicated to go into private business and do my own projects. And my first customer turned out to be a Turkish company building a military airport in Latvia. So, and working with them was quite valuable experience, because I was a person who was always believing that it's quite easy to do business, even in a country like Latvia, which is quite high in the ranks of doing business usually. But I learned that it's not so easy for defense company.
Yeah.
And that brought me to the thought to call other defense-related companies in Latvia and ask if they probably would be necessary to create some common organization which will lead the defense industries in Latvia. So, and I was getting back to defense NGO, and I have quite long experience working with companies, because before the state president's office, I was working in Employers Confederation of Latvia, so I was CEO there.
Okay.
And
So industry, government.
I could not go to the private business. I was pushed back into NGO. So
that sounds very similar to me as well. I went from academia to government, then back to academia, then the think tank world, back to government, back into academia. So I like to smile and say I've never had a real job, but but I've had a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah.
So very good. And look, having spent a number of years working directly at NDIA, I know how important that role is, representing industry, helping guide industry. I'm sure you do a lot of that. I know, and at NDIA, we'd have companies that would join, and they ask some basic questions like, what door do I walk into? Who do I go talk to? I've got a great idea. I want to support national defense. Get me started. I'm sure you deal with some of the same things.
Yeah, and and it's very very important to say that we have been cooperating with National Defense Industry Association since 2014 already.
Right.
So I think that year 2014 has been quite crucial for many people. And if we are looking in a broader scale also to European Union, I would say that defense and security has been taken with more seriousness. And these are the first years when we started to, at that time, talk about defense industries, technological base and industrial base in general terms. So since then we have been quite closely cooperating mainly on NATO level, because that's where we are meeting each other quite regularly. We are working together in NATO Industry Advisory Group, connecting with industries all across the alliance in study groups for NATO ACT and other bodies. So this has been the very valuable ecosystem we have been building all together.
Fantastic. So I'm wondering if you could tell the viewers maybe a little bit more about the defense industry in Latvia and allied nations. What are are there key companies? Are there focus areas? What can you tell us about the country?
Yeah, probably to describe defense industry in Latvia, it's important to say that we are working in all 5 domains. So companies which are working for individual equipment, collective equipment, with field medicine, with providing different type of services to the armed forces. So these are probably, I would call, like logistics or service companies in general. Latvia has a long tradition of industrial heritage. Since a century, we have been building airplanes, and we still do build airplanes. We are supporting space domain with different type of services, and even one of my first visits to the mall a long time ago, it was very special to be in a space museum and to see the Riga black bread, which was
oh yes, of course,
in the shuttles. So there are many products which have been developed in Latvia. But if I would say today, what would be probably the most recognized products from Latvia? These are different type of autonomous or drone systems. Latvia, together with UK, is leading drone coalition for Ukraine. So that gave a big spark for Latvian companies last year to really show their capabilities. And so there are different type of drones, not just FPV, kamikaze drones, which were very necessary during the last year, but these are also surveillance drones right now, precision drones. We are also offering platforms for land forces, also for sea and undersea operations.
And of course, we're seeing so much innovation in drone technology, much of it fueled by
Yes, it was. I would say that probably the idea about drone coalition wouldn't be born in the minds of Latvian MOD leadership if drone industry wouldn't be ready for that. So we have been working with armed forces of Latvia to integrate drone systems in 2018 already. So the first contracts were developed during I would say before the COVID time. So and currently it's just developing, and a lot of testing, a lot of support in funding really is helpful for industry to grow.
Excellent. Now, topic near and dear to my heart. I've spent most of my life in academia. So can you tell us about Latvian universities and how they work with your defense industries?
Yes, our academia has been at the foundation of Latvian FSDI, and currently we see very good performance of Latvian research institutes in European Defence Fund, which is having not just industrial window, as we used to say, but also it's funding research. And for instance, the University of Latvia has been very successful in working in laser technologies and quantum. We have also quite important infrastructure in Latvia for space domain, and that's the Radio Astronomy Center of Ventspils Applied Science Institute. So a lot of engineering work, calculations, work on new materials is both in a Solid Physics Institute and Riga Technical University. And the industry is cooperating with all of those research institutions from a very beginning.
Excellent.
Because if we want to be in advance of the time, so we have to work with academia.
And I've heard you touch on a number of topics that are, of course, emerging technology areas that are, across the board or important to all of our nations.
Yes.
Quantum, materials, space, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic to hear. I'd love to come back to learn a little bit more about your organization. So, how large is your organization? How do you work with your partner companies?
Yeah.
Tell us some details.
Yeah. I could probably address some 4 or 5 main pillars, because we are quite small and dedicated team in Latvia, and we are focusing first of all on legislation. So we have been one of the rare countries probably which is currently having a specific regulation. So we have defense industry law. Because many countries have defense industry strategies, but there are not so many who are having already a law which is focusing first of all on technological base, industrial availability of capacities, and also the strategic partnership approach, which is very important for security of supply and for our national armed forces. And so there are a lot of positive trends right now, which we see not only in national level but also at the EU level, where initiatives like Omnibus are looking how to decrease all the legislation which defense and security companies should implement. So it's very important, and so this is mainly the work in a legislation area.
So that sounds very complicated because you're working within your country, but also across Europe.
Yes. So it's so we are all together, and so, and also if you talk about technologies, about emerging technologies, I would say that alone we can't have superiority what we would wish for. So only together we can really create the change. And so the second pillar somehow logically goes to the finances and availability of financial resources for industry. So in Latvia's case, we have funding from our MOD, but we have also funding from European Union. So this is funding which is available for companies innovating, and there's also additional funding which is available at EU level through European Defence Fund. So,
is this mostly for startups or small innovation?
For various, for mid-caps as well. So it's not just SMEs, but startups are one of the core area as well. So, and probably this is thing which was not happening in US, but in Europe and in Latvia as well. We had quite slow interest of financial institutions to fund defense companies, and through working in a close dialogue with Bank of Latvia, with Latvian financial institutions, we managed to get understanding, to learn more about each other's procedures and KPIs and so on. And right now we're having very good dialogue with financial sector in Europe, and I know that some of my European colleagues are a little bit envying.
That's a good position to be in. Yes.
But this has been quite huge work to do. Because you cannot just rely on public funding, public support. You have to swim in a real life ocean.
Right.
And third thing, I would definitely say the innovation process as such, because we are working very closely with National Armed Forces. And currently, as I mentioned, drone technologies. So we are testing the technologies very often. So every 2 months there are some tests. Companies are having need to change certain communication methods, and this has been very close dialogue, and So supporting innovation, working together with universities, as we were talking about, it's very important.
So what about interoperability is something we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Making sure that our friends, partners, allies can work with the same systems, that their systems can communicate. I assume that's an issue that you've also been addressing.
And Latvia is having also a huge advantage in this case, because Latvia is having multinational brigade of NATO. We have many countries with soldiers, equipment to be tested, and every year we have a lot of different military trainings where allies are cooperating together. They're testing their skills, and also industry is having very unique opportunity to spotlight their products and services, not only to national armed forces but to international community, to Spanish armed forces, to Swedish armed forces, etc.
Right.
So these are probably, and if you look as well for this internationalization part, then the fourth pillar is definitely international cooperation, because companies they can grow in national environment, but they always need opportunities to export, and that's also a big advantage at the NATO level, where we can have companies competing in NATO procurement systems. And we have also opportunity to deliver our products to like-minded countries. So I believe it's very important.
Outstanding.
And and we are having also an opportunity to cooperate with NDIA. Usually we meet in international fairs, and this year the largest international fair will be in London in the ACI. So we would be very happy to.
And you're here with us.
Yes, and I would be very happy to see the American colleagues in London, or next year in Paris in Eurostatory, where we build bridges between companies, and that's one of the biggest tasks what we as national associations are doing.
Have your companies been able to break into the American market?
Yes, there's several very interesting cases, but as it was mentioned today, that there has been quite large drone testing exercise recently in the United States. Then I'm very happy that also the company Edge Autonomy, which is American company, is participating, and they are having quite recognized companies. Factory in Riga in Latvia. So this drone producer is very well known, not only in the United States but also in Ukraine, and of course that's a company we are very, very proud of. So it was like the best company.
That's a great story. Yeah, that's great to hear.
Of course, we have very amazing stories also from real startups. We have a company like Lightspace working with optics, both for medical use and also for land forces.
Okay.
We have
military medicine or general medicine?
General medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. And also company Exonicus, which is having its entity here in States, and which is working with field medicine and delivering trauma simulators in AR and VR solutions. So there has been both. I would say cooperation with large companies, like I mentioned, also with mid-sized companies, and also with complete startups, which are mainly developing thanks to the Army of United States of America.
Very good. Good to hear. Very good. And I spent many years myself talking about the importance of friends, partners, allies. I like to say there are smart people all over the world, and that if we can maximize those contributions, we're all better for it. So we are here at the Emerging Technologies Conference, and I wanted to get your thoughts. So I know it's the first day of the conference, But what are your thoughts so far?
Yes, for me, it's really valuable
Mhm.
because usually when you are in places where many people are, it's hard to find your right partner. But I believe that the size and the construction of the event is very good if you really want to dig in specific technologies.
Right.
So that's about depth, and I really love depth, not
Excellent.
just generalization.
Yeah.
So this is, I believe, very valuable event, and I have quite many requests from my members, so that they would like to find partners.
So you're gathering information.
Yes.
And, okay, getting connections going.
Some wants some research institutions working with new materials, or to make some common research program, and there are companies who are, of course, currently working a lot in a cyber domain,
Right.
and fighting all the attacks every day.
I was about to say, I can imagine that's a big issue in your
Yeah,
country.
yeah,
That's certainly a big country.
Yeah.
Big,
And
yeah.
it's a lot also to learn about applications of AI, especially in the processes. And I believe that America can show quite good use cases, which could inspire other countries to use that as well. And that's an amazing opportunity for American companies to outreach all the like-minded
But I'm
countries.
sure we can also learn a lot from
Yeah.
you and from
Yeah.
your colleagues. So outstanding. Any final thoughts as we wrap up?
No, I think we covered
All right.
quite a lot. Yes.
Well,
So
hey, it's been an absolute pleasure.
for me too.
Well, welcome to our country. Welcome to our conference. It's great to hear about everything that you are doing, not only in support of Latvia and our European allies, but also the work that you're doing in conjunction with the United States. So thank you so much.
Thank you.